Around 1 in 20 Aussies carry genes for either cystic fibrosis, Fragile X syndrome or spinal muscular atrophy.
We got pregnant with Mackenzie, and when she was 10 weeks old, she was diagnosed with a terminal genetic condition. We have gone on to lose our daughter Mackenzie when she was 7 months old. We've also lost another 2 babies during the second trimester of pregnancy.
Right now, couples trying for a baby have to fork out up to $450 for a genetic test, which many simply can't afford.
If we had known about genetic carrier screening when we were trying to fall pregnant with Mackenzie, our world would have been completely changed.
If the coalition is re-elected, it's pledging to make the test free from November next year.
We will help couples plan for their pregnancy by investing $81.2 million to create a new Medicare item to support access to genetic testing.
It just provides prospective parents with choice, and hopefully it saves some people from the pain that we've had to go through.
The PN today also promising $58 million to help those suffering from endometriosis, a debilitating condition where uterine-like tissue grows in organs outside the womb.
Jenny has told her story of crippling and terrible pain every single month.
The money will go towards an awareness campaign, new specialist treatment centres across the country and telehealth services for those in remote communities. The illness affects 1 in 9 women and gender-diverse people around the country. Because symptoms can vary, diagnosis usually takes more than 6 years.
When families are empowered with the information about what is and isn't normal when you have your period, then people can insist that they get the medical assistance that they need.
But with the condition affecting almost as many people as diabetes, there are calls to do even more.
If we could see the same kind of funding that diabetes gets, then that would be a step that would help those with this condition suffering in silence.
Bridget Hustwaite is a Triple J presenter, but also a passionate endometriosis campaigner, and she joins us now. Bridget, we'll get to the announcement itself in just a moment, but first let's start with your experience. What's it been like with this illness?
Yeah, endometriosis is a tough battle to be dealing with. I was first diagnosed with endo in 2018, and it took me 12 years to get my diagnosis. So I first went and saw a doctor about my period pain concerns when I was around age 15. And yeah, it took 12 years until I actually had excision surgery to detect and diagnose me with endo. And unfortunately, my duration was a really common one. A lot of people do, spend years trying to get answers, and unfortunately are faced with dismissal and other barriers in terms of, finding out what is the cause of their pain and, being told that it's all in their head and whatnot. I had one doctor tell me straight up that I don't have endometriosis, but then I received my diagnosis a year after. So it was a long journey just to get that, confirmation that what I was experiencing was real. But then it doesn't end there, because endo is a chronic condition with no known cause or cure. So it's something that I continue to navigate, life with as someone with a chronic illness.
So what did you think of the $58 million announcement that the government made today?
Yeah, look, it's interesting. I mean, it is Endometriosis Awareness Month, so there is a lot of conversation happening right now. It is, of course, the most funding that endometriosis and pelvic pain have received so far. So there's a lot of positives, but there is still a lot of work to be done. Me personally, what I would love to see with this funding is actually funding to train more excision specialists. Surgically, you can remove it in 2 different ways. So there's one way called excision, where you physically cut the disease out from the root. And that is, it's like a shovel, you're fully getting the weed and it's out from the root. So the likelihood of it growing back is pretty low. The other technique is called ablation. So if you think of burning a weed, but just the surface, the tip, the root's still there, so the disease is still there. Unfortunately, excision specialists are an absolute rarity, and I can't help but liken endometriosis to a bit of a classism issue, because your level of treatment and your access to excision surgery is really dependent on how much you earn, if you can afford private health insurance, and where you live. So whilst we don't have a known cause or cure, what I would love to look at is what we can do right now for people with endometriosis, and that's ensuring consistent level of care is accessible no matter where you live and no matter what you can afford. I really can't think of another condition that has this kind of barrier. I don't know if you guys can, but it just seems to be a really unique thing with endometriosis.
Bridget, it's such a serious issue. It's been great for us to speak to you tonight. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.